Shot and killed, facing danger and not turning back. She was known for her compassion and care. She was a mother, and now a city grieves after a 24-year-old Indianapolis officer's life is cut short. RTV6 is working for you tonight with team coverage as we find out what happened here.
Our Cornelius Hawker is at the scene of the shooting, but first we want to get over to Cameron Riddle, who has been getting updates at Eskenazi Health. Cameron.
Hey, Amanda, good evening. Yeah, it's definitely a sad day here across the city of Indianapolis. It has been announced that a 24-year-old woman, an officer just 2 years on the force, Officer Leith, was shot and killed this afternoon while responding to a domestic violence call. If you were on the highway in the 3 o'clock hour this afternoon, you would have seen this long parade of police cars, those red, white, and blue lights making their way west here to Eskenazi Hospital. This is what happened as the officers were making their way carrying Officer Leith here to the hospital. Despite the best life-saving efforts here at Eskenazi, she was pronounced dead here at the hospital. Police tell us she was responding to that domestic violence call just before 3 o'clock, and before she could even engage with the person who was on the other side of that apartment door, she was shot. The two other officers who she was with pulled her down the stairs to safety and called for additional help. Police tell us that suspect is not on the street tonight, but of course we have now lost a police officer killed in the line of duty, only the second woman police officer in IMPD's history to now be killed in the line of duty. City leaders, including Mayor Joe Hogsett, the leader of the Fraternal Order of Police, and IMPD's police chief Randall Taylor, are some tough guys on a normal day, but today when they came to speak to the media, you could clearly see that they were heartbroken and in some moments in tears.
Officer Leith made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of her brothers and her sisters, and made the ultimate sacrifice for an ever grateful city.
She's described as a dedicated officer who showed compassion for the community. She is the example of the type of officer we want on this department.
As a personal note, we would ask humbly that our residents, as they always do, step forward and reaffirm your support for our officers who continue to stay on the line. We've been talking about it during this COVID experience that our officers' resolve is intact. They have not wavered, nor will they, and their resolve will continue.
We've also learned tonight that Officer Leith had just been on the force for 2 years. Again, she was a mother and a graduate of Southport High School. Her parents are longtime civil servants and members of law enforcement. Her father, a Marion County Sheriff's deputy, and her mother, a longtime 911 Marion County dispatcher. Tonight, the mayor is asking that flags be at half-staff, and that tonight at 8 o'clock, Indianapolis comes and remembers Officer Leith and the officers for their dedication. Again, as we are in the middle of a pandemic, things are already tough, and today gets a bit tougher. And Mark, I got to tell you, Officer Leith and I went to the same school district, so I didn't know her, but I've got a ton of friends in common with her. And when I got on Facebook tonight, the first thing that I saw was a picture of her child in her uniform, and one of her family members posting, "I don't know how to tell him." That's where our thoughts are with her family and the son that she leaves behind tonight. Mark.
So heartbreaking to hear that, and I'm sure so many households around the area will be showing their support any way they can. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker has been working to gather information on how this all unfolded. He joins us live from the east side tonight with the very latest on that side of the story. Cornelius.
Yeah, Mark, such a sad, terrible situation. You know, there's a police presence still out here at the Wellington Square Apartments. And here's what we know. We were told about 4 hours ago, right before 3 o'clock, police were called out here for some sort of domestic dispute. And whenever they were walking toward that apartment where they say the dispute was, that's whenever shots were fired. And one of those shots hit Officer Leith. We have some pictures of her up, if you could throw those up for me. You know, they did everything they can them rushing her to the hospital. And I want to make sure I get all this right. They rushed her to the hospital, but they weren't unable to save her. And police also say another woman from that apartment was also taken to the hospital. And, right now they have someone in custody. They haven't given us any names, and they are questioning this individual. They haven't said if they're the person responsible, but police do believe that that person is responsible, the one that they have in custody. And so whenever we get any updates on just this tragic situation, we'll be sure to pass them along to you on TV and, of course, on all of our social media pages. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Cornelius. And this statement just in from Governor Holcomb on the death of Officer Leith. Quote, Officer Leith gave her life as she answered the call of duty. Janet and I are heartbroken for her family, friends, and the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. And we are working to learn everything we can about how this all unfolded, and we are also hoping to show you more in the coming days about all the good Officer Leith did in just 2.5 years on the force. We'll have deeper details coming up tonight at 11, and you can always stay on top of developments on the IndyChannel.com.